Welcome to r/entitled people, where we share stories from your lives about people who think the rules don't apply to them, and they should get what they want. Thank you, friends, for subscribing to the channel, and for so many likes. And today we have two great stories, so subscribe, hit the like button, and let's begin. The first story: difficulties in communicating with a demanding and eccentric group of customers during closing hours in a restaurant. The second story: I reprimanded the company to the Ministry of Labor, and this is what happened. The first story is Diary of a Petty Server, on Grizzled Granny and the Grumpettes. Dear Diary, Christmas draws nigh, and with it an endless stream of exciting possibilities. What shall shopping obligations and yearly familial pressure bring into our happy home today? A party of 30 with 15 high chairs and 10 birthdays? A gift cardee who will graciously tip the remaining 80 on the card? Hill people insisting to sit by the windows so the toy deer with a red clown nose doesn't get stolen from the truck? If we're really effing lucky, all of it. I've been working doubles for 2 weeks straight, flying under the OT radar like a frightened penniless goose. By 10:45 Friday night, I'm frothing at the bit to get off this effing clock. But of course the best time to go to a restaurant is right before they close, 'cause you get the whole place to yourself, so I hear. Manager comes into the kitchen with 3 open. She locks eyes with me and says very seriously, "I'm sorry." Well, that can't be effing good. I put on a brave facade and head into the dining room, eyes feasting on the sea of red flags before me. I'm immediately glared down by an elderly lady who looks like she's making a living out of cracking ankles with a hammer. She's accompanied by a small girl in pigtails, who's busily ripping her coloring menu into shreds, and a lady who I can only assume is the child's mother. The lady turns to look at me as I approach the table with eyes bigger and blacker than a D ostrich. She's obviously pre-gamed with a round or two at the old shootin' snort. But it's Christmas, and angry, possibly addicted ladies are people too, so I give them a smile and say, "Hello ladies, I'm OP and I'll be taking care of you tonight." "I bet you're not happy to see us," the elderly lady says, like she was expecting the furniture and I to dance and sing "Be Our Guest." But if you're fast, we'll be fast too. A verbal contract she did not uphold. I cut the scripting BS to get drink orders. Mostly harmless, although the child is convinced we're in possession of strawberry milk, and when I cannot convince her otherwise, she responds by shoving a ripped menu into her mouth. Unfortunately, her spitty shreds do not transmute to strawberry milk, so she angrily settles for chocolate. I try to get through the table quickly and efficiently, but there are pitfalls. Angry grandma is outraged that the free drink offered with the kids' dinner meals will not be offered to her granddaughter, as she's eating pancakes. But she's eating the pancakes for dinner. She deserves a free drink. Alas, the overlords do not deem her worthy. Troubles again when she decides to order the daily special for Wednesday. Oh, but that doesn't matter. We have the ingredients in the back, we can just cook it for her. You know, bake the chicken and prep the vegetables, and hell, why don't I just drive it to your GD house at 2 in the morning when everything's done? I have to get my manager involved in order to convince this bad SH lady that we can't make this dish on demand. Now, a manager's a real sweetheart who can find the good in a pit viper, but even her eye is starting to twitch. If I play my cards right, I might get a piece of pity cake out of this. I have to earn it, though. Mom has spent most of her time snapping the prongs off the plastic forks, occasionally, i.e. frequently, putting in more requests for biscuits and jelly. At this point, the lady has to be at least 3 parts biscuits, 2 parts prohibited substances. On one trip to check refills, the mystery is solved. Mom's jacket pockets are literally bulging with biscuits. I can see them. She sees that I've seen them, so she casually puts her hands in her pockets and asks for more jelly. I can't see that, so God only knows where 6 tiny packets of blackberry are hiding. Joke's on you, lady. The biscuits are complimentary, and honestly probably as hard as rocks by now. By the 8th complaint on the food and setting, from being too hot in the store that she couldn't comfortably wear her jacket, to being so cold that she was indignant we didn't hike outside to get more firewood, I've officially lost my sunny exuberance. By the time I drop off the check and to-go drinks, I would have happily sliced my fingers and worn lemon gloves if it meant these people would never darken my doorstep again. At this point, we've been closed so long the dish room is finished. The cashier's been sent home. Just me and my manager in this battle for our souls. Alas, hope makes weary fools of us all. I'm beating feet back to the kitchen when I hear, "Ma'am." It's the mom. She's holding up her to-go drink. "This isn't Coke Zero." "You're absolutely accurate. Never has been. Probably never will be. Excellent observation, good night." "No, ma'am, it was Diet Coke. That's what all your refills have been." She insists it was Coke Zero. When I tell her our fountains don't have Coke Zero, she asks if she can get one out of her break room. Look, lady, I don't know what fancy Coke Zero break room you've been in, but all I can offer you here is Fantas disguised as Sprites. Poor thing was itching for a Coke Zero, judging by the scratching, but she eventually compromises on a regular Coke. Unfortunately, the nozzle's in the blue water, so you're getting diet and you're gonna effing like it. I finally herd them up to the cash stand. I wish them good night, but I don't know, they probably spent the evening sandpapering their own a-holes. Gotta get good and angry before descending on some innocent Chick-fil-A and demanding Baconators. I rush to get the last chores done, and as I'm throwing towels in the laundry, I meet our night maintenance guy. He's red as an effing lobster and gibbering. Apparently a strange lady who never blinked had just barged into the ladies' restroom where he was cleaning. An hour after close with the door propped open with a mop bucket, complete with sign, and declared him a pervert before doing the running man beside the wet floor sign and disappearing. I can offer nothing but sympathy. I clock out and go to check my tips. The experience has given me the old no impending tip blues, but when I check my tips, the amount has increased by almost $15. As the ticket had come to around $30, I find this very generous. I feel it, that old panic flare of I've misjudged you. Maybe this will be a good lesson for me as a server. Maybe grumpy grannies and addicted mommies and their strawberry milk shrieking demons can be just as kind and loving as the rest of... Dabbles and direwolves, can you come up here? OSH. Surely my new angry but tippy friends aren't upset with me. The guests are gone, but my manager is standing behind the cash register. She says that was fun. I admit it was rough, but at least I have a nice tip I wasn't expecting. So my manager tells me a tale. The elderly lady had asked for one check at the table, but now wanted the checks to be split. Manager obliges. Angry lady pays her ticket, does not leave a tip. She disappears with the girl. At this point, Lady Twitchy Tweak has come out of the bathroom after scaring our maintenance man back into the kitchen. Manager has decided to get ahead of the situation. She has the ticket in hand and is standing at the door when the lady first tries to leave. Manager sweet talks her, thanks her for coming in, and gets her over to the cash register to pay. As the lady pulls out her credit card, my manager goes through the spiel. How was your meal? How was the service, etc. The lady tells her it was good, asks her to thank me for the Coke Zero, and says, "Oh, I need to tip. Round it up to 14. Her bill was $13.88. She wanted to round the total to 14. 12 cents ahead of the game, I guess. My manager instructs her to input her card information and input her tip when the screen prompted. So lady gets to the screen to input tip. For those who aren't familiar, it's a big screen that says input tip amount. Hit the button to skip tip. Hit this button to send tip. It's truly not difficult. Lady asks manager again how much the check was. $13.88. Okay, so I'm rounding up to 14. Lady pecks out 14 into the tip input screen and hits send tip. She's prompted if she's sure. She is sure. It's all over but the crying. Most of it mine. My manager, God bless her effing beautiful soul, would have tried to correct a genuine mistake from a guest usually. But hell, the machine asked her twice. How far do you go to save people from themselves? Sound reasoning. Sure is SH good enough for me. I'll exchange this hard-won $14 for liquor and also probably strawberry milk. Kid had a point. SH is delicious. The second story is, do I have a valid DOL complaint? I went to work for a company as a project engineer and was hired for a 40-an-hour week Monday through Friday job, and my contract stated I was salary exempt, although from what I've read, I don't think my job duties really fall within that category. I started out working 50 to 60-hour weeks, the occasional 70-hour week, but I averaged at least 50-plus hours a week. I had a closed-door convo with my boss to the effect of, hey, I know you've seen my timesheets, but I took the salary that you offered me based on 40 hours a week. We need to figure out how to either bring down my hours, or I need OT or something. This really isn't what I signed up for. He placates me with assurances he'll speak with the owner and figure something out. In the meantime, I look back at my old timesheets to actually calculate my weekly averages, and lo and behold, they've all been neatly trimmed to exactly 40 hours. Or less in one case where I had a 3-hour appointment, and they made me take PTO. I then received an email the following Friday from payroll telling me to limit my hours to 40 a week unless they're for projects that are hourly and not fixed bid, so that they don't have to continue going in and changing them for me. Yes, I still have a copy of this email. A few weeks go by. Nothing back from my boss yet, and I got picked to be the person that took over on a big project for the company. That lucky person had to be at the office by 4:30 each morning to load equipment in the company truck and get to the site on time. It varied a little as to when I would get back to the office, but it was never earlier than 7 p.m., and was as late as 8:30. Still had to unload equipment and park the truck in lockup before going home. This was 6 days a week. The guy I was relieving had been on the job like a year, but they were paying him OT. He told me I could use that as justification to ask my boss for OT again. I finally called my boss after being there a couple of weeks, and he said it just wasn't in the budget. This was an hourly job. I was filling out OT sheets for the client so my company could get paid OT for my time. I told him I'm not doing it anymore, and he was like, okay, fine. Just give me a little time to work out a replacement. 3 weeks later, I called my boss on my drive home and told him he could cram the job up his A if there was any room left from his head being there. Parked the truck in lockup. Didn't even unload the nuke gauge. Just threw the truck keys on the counter, grabbed my personal stuff, threw all the company property I had on reception next to the keys and left. First off, F that job and F that boss. But secondly, am I entitled to any back pay for all that OT I worked? And isn't it against the law for companies to fraudulently alter timesheets? This is a privately owned company, but they have big government contracts. This was all like 14 to 16 months ago, but I'd never found a place to ask before. Update. Heard back from the US DOL investigator that was assigned to my complaint. She was absolutely giddy when I read her the email that the accounting manager sent me. She stopped me and had me repeat several of the key things, and then said them back to me to confirm she heard them correctly, as I first read it to her. She's now in possession of a copy. An investigation of the company is being officially opened next week, and she's simultaneously notifying the owner, entitled inheritor, the director of finance, who was the accounting manager that sent the email, but has been promoted, and is like Wonder Woman PMSing all the time, except her only superpower is being a bee. My former manager, who is on what is essentially the executive board with the owner and director of finance, along with 2 HR reps that I don't know, and so I pity. This wily coyote just stopped ordering his SH from Acme and upgraded to a supplier who has the goods that can actually just absolutely effing wreck that Roadrunner, and anyone else for that matter, the United States government. Never thought I'd find myself working with the feds, or state, even. But it seems like a convenient arrangement for both an investigator out for their blood and an abused ex-employee that's just happy with seeing those people bleed. This is all figurative or metaphorical. I wish no physical harm upon anyone, and don't particularly want to see anyone actually bleed or physically injured. Dramatic double parentheses. I felt like it was probably smart or safe to make that clear given the current culture across a lot of America right now. I wanted to make it absolutely clear to anyone who is overly sensitive that I obviously wish no physical harm comes to anyone. I only wish to destroy their hopes, dreams, retirement accounts, and aspirations, but nothing more. I'm totes PC, brah. The SH show will begin Monday or Tuesday around 10 a.m. CST. WCFM has an inside source on scene to deliver the latest breaking news when it comes to brick SHing and sheer panic at the currently unnamed company. Update 2. I sent the investigator assigned to the case the contact info for 4 people willing to both testify on my behalf as well as testify about their own mistreatment. The investigator told me she was sending out certified letters to everyone in charge, and they should get them on Monday. Hooray for the U.S. Department of anything, really. Just hooray for a U.S. department that did what it's supposed to in a timely manner. Stand by for the SH to fly. Update 3. Those bees were indeed found to have violated multiple labor laws, including hour and labor violations against me and 4 other employees. I only know that they had other fines and such because the investigator was kind enough to share that, and also to encourage me to get the entire case file via an FOIA request and to take it to an attorney, because the actual amount owed would be over $5,000, maybe even double that. I'm just waiting for it to process and all that BS, but I'm not cashing that check. They initially tried to send it to me via certified mail, and I just wrote on the envelope "Return to sender" without even opening it. I really don't care how much I end up getting. They'll be paying their attorneys a lot more than they could be paying me if nothing else, so I'm satisfied. I just wanted some payback on the crooks that run that place. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Have a good day.